friends, welcome back to At Home with Chic and Grace. So, this cute layered frame, and so it comes with the back, and then you're going to put this scallop on here. These two pieces are separate. Like you could use it just like other than the fact that there's a hole there. The hole is there because this is going to be interchangeable. This also glues on, and then this will of course be your interchangeable that fits in there. Of course, once it's all glued together, it's going to fit in better, but then you get a more dimensional look like this. So you could sit it in like an easel. You can have it vertical, you can use it horizontal. I think what I'll do is I can include some, let me see here, and just thought of this now. I can include the washer and the magnet in case, and the optional hardware to hang this. I just don't have the hardware in front of me right now. Actually, let me grab it, because I can include those as options in case you wanted to hang this on a wall. So let me grab the hardware. Okay, this is a smaller, like a thinner version, but you would get it in the same thickness as this. I think I might be able to offer these in the 1/8 inch. That way it only stands out a 1/4 inch from the wall. I have to think about that because I just have a hard time sourcing good 1/8 inch. Anyhow, this goes on the back. So you could put, this piece goes down, and then you thread in your jute wire or whatever into that and glue it on. So then you have access, right? So that you can move it around, and then you would glue that on. So if I did do those in 1/8 inch, then this would all be flush on the wall. So I will try to remember to add those in the kit. I'll put them here so I can remember. Anyhow, so it comes with one insert. You'll have the option to get different inserts, but let me show you what we are going to do. So I have Iron Orchids Designs. I've got the Rose Botanical. I've used a couple of them in the past. We're not going to flip through the whole thing. I should have had it ready and open here for you. So I'm just going to grab some scissors. And we will now this won't fit exact. We're going to have to do some trimming on it, but that's okay. But my thought is, if I could just put that guy back in there. I really liked the idea of having these roses, but I'm going to move the roses over a little bit. I love the way the stem is following the lines of the frame. And then I'll probably take these words and put them up here, maybe one down here. I'm thinking of, this is probably going to be white, but I think then this piece, I might stain it, or just like a chocolate brown. Actually, that would be really nice. Ooh, I got some ideas. So anyhow, this is what we are up to with this, and I'm going to go ahead and get things painted. I'll come back, I'll show you the colors that that I used, and we will get our transfer on, and then we'll add some finishing touches to the piece. Okay, So just as I was painting, actually I had this painted white and then I changed my mind. It's still going to be white, and I used Fusion Mineral Paint Chocolate. I painted this. I painted all sides, the outside and inside, because this is the raised piece, so we are going to see that. I just used my brush and did 2 coats of Fusion Mineral Paints Casement. And then I did 2 coats of chocolate on here. And I did the edge and I did the inside. You don't need to do the inside, but the edge we will see. And when it's layered, and I will actually, once I have this glued together, I will touch up the edge with more chocolate. And then paint the back or something. Probably paint it because it'll be messy, so I'll paint it. Okay. What we are going to do is, I want this to I just want it to look like a worn frame. A little chippy, but not really. So I just want to go around the edges of the scallops here with some candle wax. I'm going to do all the edges because even though we only want it to show here and there, Fusion Mineral Paint, you know, it adheres quite well. And I mean, the wax helps it to resist, but it's a nice hard paint, so it's not going to come off in all of those spots. That has been my experience anyways. And then I'm going to go around the whole inside. Not doing the edge because I'm not painting the edge. I'm actually going to leave the edge chocolate brown. And you can just do probably 2 coats. I had this in water, so my first coat is going to be a little on the thin side. You could also sponge this on if you were worried about getting any on the edges. You could go ahead and sponge it. Try not to get too much paint down on the inside because that will hinder your insert from going in nice and smooth if you get a paint buildup there. So the second coat will cover much better here. This is looking quite thin because I had it sitting in water, my brush sitting in water. This still is not full coverage. Like by 4 coats, I did them very light. And I can still see like a little chocolate kind of popping through here and there. I'm okay with that. So I have my little plastic scraper and I'm just gonna start hitting the edges. Actually, this is coming off of almost all of those edges. You know, just when you say it's not going to happen, it does. But, oh, so there, it's not. And that's okay, because that's what I want. that is basically exactly what I was going for. All I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take my scraper over, and anything that volunteers to come up is just a bonus. Like every now and then you can barely see, but I did get a little bit of candle wax crumbles through my paint, so then some of that would come up. And if you wanted to, you could take your sandpaper. This goes in there. I was thinking, oh, what if you did do something in here and you use your little magnet and did something that could come off, like a little resin. I'm just going to get it and show you. Get this guy ready. Now let's use this as our template so we can kind of decide. Yeah, I think that I want enough room here and here for the words. And I don't want it too over-centered. So I'm going to take a pen. All right. This isn't even really working on there, but it gives me a little bit of an impression. Well, I do know that I want to save those words, so okay, so let's put those words there. And then at least I have the bottom edge rounded so I can see where I want to put it on. Because I don't think any of these bits and pieces are really going to matter. Like they're not going to be anything that I think is really worth saving. Oops. So let's just double check. Oh yeah, look how good that's gonna look. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm excited. Okay, now, if you're using some other kind of paint, like chalk paint, seal it first. I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint, so it has a built-in sealer. It works great with the transfers. And you're just going to take your stick that comes with your transfers and you can start to rub, and it will start to release. I'm just giving a little extra pressure around the edge where those are, and it kind of like cuts it for you. You can see that. All right. Look how gorgeous that looks. All right, I'm just gonna place this back down here because just in case you decide you need extra leaves for something, I guess we should save that. Okay, there's a little bit here that just of those edge pieces, I am just curling them around. Oh, and then I just need to snag this back for a second. You can either use the top part or the bottom part. Just go over and like burnish it. So I think if we do that there, and then yeah, that down there, that looks like it's going to work. Beautiful. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so let me show you. We're not done yet, but like, let's put this in. Oh, that piece right there, I gotta get off. You can already see that it's tight. You know why it's tight? Is because I don't actually have everything in here straight. This should just, that should just slide in, and I kind of forced it. So, if you got pieces, you can like just go around the edge with your sander and they'll come off. There. Let's do this side too. Just because they're just there. Like that it should just slide in. Look how gorgeous that is. And then this goes on top. It just, oh, it's so perfect. And of course, we are going to do a little fine line crackle, I think, on here. We're going to seal this first, and I think we're going to hit this with a little bit of gold. We have to do one more thing before we do this. I'm going to get a really light piece of sandpaper. Like, I'm going to put 600 on here. And I am very lightly going to go over this. I think we'll go back and forth. Oh yes. Yeah, very lightly. And you can see the little bit of distressing that we're getting. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, you do have to be a little careful because your pigments, like your colors from here, can smear across your board. Just gonna wipe it off, and I'm usually actually okay with it because it just adds to the background, but I'm just gonna bring my baby wipe in and just get a little bit of it off. And if it was too much, you could go back in with a paintbrush and just touch up some of those spots. But I find that this does the trick. You might get a little bit also of the sanding particles, like building up on your transfer lines. It's very, very subtle, and you really don't even notice it, especially after we do the next step that we're going to do. So 2 coats of Dixie Belle. clear coat on there is what I did. You can use any clear coat. Doesn't have to be the Dixie Belle. The Fusion Matte is really nice as well. All right. So Fine Line Crackle. I'm using the Pentart Fine Line Crackle. And we have got component 1. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, it's opened. I haven't actually used it in a little bit here. Dry clean brush. So if you're having problems with your Fine Line Crackle working for you, a couple things is your surface must be very, very dry. I use my heat tool to help dry this. You have to use a clean, dry brush. No water can touch this, and no water-based product can touch this. Like, you can't wipe back with a baby wipe. And when we seal it, we're going to be using a solvent-based sealer as well. So from this point on, nothing goes on here that is water-based. Okay, so I have to get myself a new bottle here. So you're going to put your first component on. You don't have to go all in one motion either. You don't want to overwork it. If your brush starts to drag, you need more product. Okay, just be mindful of those edges. We don't want a whole bunch of product seeping down in them. Okay, so we are gonna finish applying this, and we are gonna let it fully dry. We are gonna come back for component 2 and do the exact same steps, but I'll come back and show you. All right, so we are back, and we've got the first component 1 on and dry. So now with another new, well, not new, but like clean, dry brush, we are gonna apply component 2, and then we're gonna let this dry. Okay, so this is more of an amber color, and if you get it on too thick, it can discolor the piece just a little bit, but I think that just actually adds to it. You know, we're looking for that aged look, right? So it just adds to it, in my opinion. So every now and then, if you get it on a little too thick, you're gonna get that discoloration, but like I'm okay with that. Hey, so we're back, and this has beautiful, beautiful crackles. Little discoloring from the component 2, which we knew was going to happen because of how thick I put it on. So just a quick little tip here too. If, like, the thinner you have it, the faster it's going to crackle. I find then it gets smaller crackles, like along the edge. I know you can't see this. You will in a minute here. But you get smaller crackles, and then where you have it on thicker, you get bigger crackles. And you think it's dry, and you may not see any crackles, so you can kind of see it where the light hits it, hey? Like, look at all that crackle in there. But when I, just picked it up a couple minutes ago, I couldn't see hardly any of the crackles in this area because I had it thicker here. So with a low temperature heat gun, you can heat it. It just helps it to cure a little bit faster and crack. If you have a high temperature heat gun, you got to hold it very far away, because I went over to see if I could get this area to crack more, and I was using my high temp gun and it bubbled, but it went right back down because I caught it right away. And I'm actually okay if it doesn't crackle everywhere, because if it was an aged piece, it might not be crackling everywhere. All right, so all that being said, we are going to use our antique paste in Umbra. This is Pent Arts, and remember, this is not a water-based paint or paste, so this is a solvent base and it is sticky. You can choose to wear gloves if you want. I am just gonna cut a piece of paper towel here, and we are going to apply it with that. You can use a brush too. So sometimes I'll just use, let me grab it here. I'll use this little brush, like a scumbler brush, and get it deep down into those spots. But we're just gonna rub this on. Look at that. Like, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, this is, you know, never gets old for me. I absolutely love this product. And if you got it on heavier than you wanted to in a couple places and you found it wasn't coming off, you could take a clear solvent-based wax. I've used Behr before, and just go over it and it will take some of that off. So where I hit it with the heat gun, it actually made the cracks a little wider too, which I really liked. So you can see that I really have nothing for cracking in that area. And if I would have been more patient maybe with my low temperature gun, I could have got it to crack. And I actually have found that over time, like as it cures completely, especially in those thick spots, I've had it crack some more. So I don't know the science behind it, but that's just my experience. So you can see how small the crackle is around the edges, and then where I had it on thicker, how much bigger the cracks are. All right, let's bring our piece in. We're going to use some of that gold in a second. I just want to make sure that I've got nothing on my hands here. So what I did was I went around the edges with the white. I was going to leave it brown, and then I decided nope, and I will paint the back of it. I'll probably paint the back of it white. So I took my candle wax and rubbed it on there. I did 2 coats of the paint, and then it's much easier to just use the little sander, and I just went like back and forth over top of it. So okay, now let's just drop this in there. It has to sit just perfectly. Okay, and then we've got this piece. And it is going to have to fit in there perfectly as well. Before we glue it down, we need to make sure we have it in the right spot so that this goes in and out easily. You might have to like just... Oh yeah, actually I think that's, yep, that's the way it needs to go. You have to, I did not make this file, so just so you know, I don't make the files, I purchase them. So whoever made it didn't make an exact oval, but that is okay. It is gorgeous. I love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down, and then once that's dry, we'll come back, we'll put the finishing touches on this, and it'll be good to go. All right. Okay. One thing I wanted to say is I am going to varnish this, but I don't want to do it until we're completely done because I'm still handling this, putting it in and out. But with Pentart's clear varnish in gloss, I want to maintain the glossiness of this, so that is what I'll be doing, and applying with a clean, dry brush. All right, now I actually glued that on, and then, yep, perfect. It's going to be so pretty. This is a little too white, so we are going to fix that. We are going to start with some clear wax. I always start with clear, that way if I get my dark wax on too heavy, it wipes off. So I'm just going over the entire outside here. And while we're at it, we'll just hit the edges. Not too worried about the edges there. And then I like to use the dark antique wax from Behr as well. And I am just going to run that over. I don't want this too heavy. Paper towel. We'll use this little piece. So I'm just going to rub it right back. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, see already, that is like, that's perfect. So then let's just take this and just hit the edges a little. Now, the gold Pentart wax paste, and it's the metallic. Now, a lot of times I'll just dip my finger in, but if you don't want to, you can use a little brush, and I just really wanted to hit the edges of this, just a wee tiny bit. I absolutely love how this project turned out. I just want to mention about putting fine line crackle over top of a transfer. I know that some people have problems with it cracking and lifting the transfer. I made this about 10 months ago, and it is just now starting to crack and lift, and actually it's doing it in the spot where I overheated it. So I'm going to hit it with another coat of varnish just to keep it good. I haven't had this problem before, so I just wanted to say, do this at your own risk. So I'm going to style this up, and we're going to get on to the next project. So for our next project, we're going to make these cute little spindle birds. So normally when you get kits from me, they're all taped up on the back, so you keep them in the template to paint them. We're taking these out because we are using milk paint, and I want to glue them together first, plus I'll be painting the sides of these ones. Okay, so once you have them all out, we are going to go ahead and glue this together with Titebond Quick and Thick. You may want to use a few clamps to hold it together as well. Alright, so now these are all glued together, we are going to be able to get on to our next step. And what I love is that these little birdies are double-sided. So what I'm showing you here is these little oval wood pieces that will come with your kit. The designer of this file had those glued on top with a little wire and I think some beads sticking out of it. But we're not going to do that. You can do what you like with it. It was still cute. So let's get the Saman dark oak. This is a water-based stain, so it dries really quick and it's not smelly. And you are going to put one coat all over the bird. I even did the sides, the whole thing, spindle, base, everything. All right, we have everything all coated in that stain, and we are going to use Milk Paint's Gustavian white. So I have already mixed this up. It was about equal parts. I wanted it a little on the thicker side, so I think I went back in and added a little bit extra milk paint, and I'm just stirring it here because I've had it sit for a little while. So we are going to put 2 coats of the milk paint on, and I am going to dry it in between with my dryer, my heat gun, so I can get some crackle. If you wanted it to be more chippy, I would put some candle wax on a few places, or you could like spray this with a shellac, and then that also helps get more cracking and chipping. But I like the wax. This didn't chip much for me. It did more cracking than anything, which is perfect. So here we are with 1 coat on everything, and I am just going to heat it with my heat gun, moving it around. You don't want to bubble it in places. If you hold your heat on it too long in one place, it will bubble it a bit. Okay, so here we are. We've got 2 coats on. I have used my heat gun on the second coat as well. And I know you can't see it very well, but I do have some really great crackling happen here. So we're gonna take some sandpaper. I do switch it out to a coarser grit here. And I'm just going to go over the edges. Well, I'm actually going to go over the whole bird because sometimes you can get some of that milk paint to chip off sanding over top of it. But it's actually on there pretty dang good. But the crackling is what I wanted this time. Okay, so our next step is we are going to add some clear wax. You don't have to put clear wax on first. I like to put clear wax on first because then I feel like I have more control over my darker antiquing wax. I am using Behr's clear and antiquing, and I will use white later as well. So all over the entire bird with clear. Then we're going to go in with the antiquing and then wipe it back. So if you get your antiquing wax on darker than you want, you can use your clear to erase it. You can already see it starting to settle down into those cracks, and it will stay down in there, but I want my white milk paint to be a little bit brighter, and I just want the antiquing to be around the edges and in the grooves and that, so you can already see how that brightens it up. You will then see me go over it with a little bit of white to brighten it even more. So you can go back and forth and play around with this to get the desired look that you like. So one last step before we are done, I am using Rub and Buff Gold Leaf, and I am just going to hit a couple areas like the tips of the wings, the beak. I can't remember a few other places where I had put it on. Just think it adds a little bit extra dimension. These would be so pretty if you added a little bit of color to them too. I wanted them neutral, and then I am going to add the color in my bow, and I will show you a few choices, but in the end I ended up going with the white with the like tiny blue stripe, and I will show you some photos of them all styled up. Okay, so these were what I had decided my options were, and that is the one that I actually go with. It best fits my decor, and then I could use it year round. I'm going to hot glue them on so I could take them off, but alternatively you could actually just tie them on and then change them out seasonally too. I just love how both of these projects turned out, and I think that they will be so pretty displayed together if you wanted to. So I'll style things up and show you what everything looks like. But thanks for joining me, friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.